All right, good evening. It's Monday, April 20th. I'm back from vacation, still getting my feet under me. That's what makes a weather chat an even better idea. Lets me do a little more forecasting, lets me hear from you. What have you seen over the past week? What questions do you have about the forecast? And what's going on? What kind of events are you trying to plan? What are you trying to plan around with tomorrow's weather? I'm here to help you as best I can. We've got rain coming in tonight. If you're watching from the west side of the valley, the Delta, or the Bay Area, you've had rain already. If you're watching for places east of I-5, especially the foothills and the Sierra, you might be looking outside and going, it's going to rain? I mean, that's Tahoe right behind me right now. That's our camera in South Lake. It's gorgeous. I know our webcam doesn't capture the color of the sunset quite as perfectly as what I'm looking at here. But yeah, we had a lot of sunshine today in Tahoe. Tomorrow we're going to have snow and some rain mixing in, at least at lake level, but going up and over the summits. Chain controls, I would plan on that pretty much at any time during the day tomorrow. So we've got snow to talk about. We've got rain tonight. More rain tomorrow, but it's going to be kind of a different flavor. Tonight's rain is just rain. There's no wind, there's no thunder, there's no hail coming in with it. It's just run-of-the-mill wet weather. It'll wash our cars for us, it'll water our grass for us. But tomorrow from about midday into the early afternoon and evening, we've got thunderstorms again. And I'll say this right off the bat, I don't think they're going to be as wild as what we saw a week and a half ago, where we had the big hail in places like Modesto. We had wind damage in parts of Sacramento County last weekend. I don't see that. There will be some stronger storms in there. Could a tree branch come down here or there? Sure, but that will say, I think, more about the trees than the strength of the wind. We will see some hail, but I just don't think it's going to be as big as what we saw a week and a half ago. And we'll talk a little bit about why, show you some of the ingredients, more or less, that we look at when we're forecasting thunderstorms. But I'm not saying this to downplay tomorrow. Anytime there's thunder or lightning, you want to be on your toes, and you just want to be mindful. If you can hear the thunder, you're close enough for lightning to be a hazard, so you want to be heading inside. So tomorrow's a day to be heads up in the valley and the foothills. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk snow totals, rain totals, and whatever other forecast questions you've got. So I'm on Facebook and YouTube. I've got the live streams pulled up over to the side here, so from time to time I'll pause, take a look at who's asking questions. I'm going to alternate between my page and the KCRA pages. So if you do have any questions or comments, go ahead and throw them in there. And without further ado, let's get started. All right, I had to reload the comments here on my page. Kylie's asking about thunderstorms in Twainhart. Okay, we'll cover that. Jose saying a few cells right above Santa Rosa. Yeah, Santa Rosa, Napa, parts of Lake County. Lake County's seen close to an inch of rain at this point so far today. And all that's going to be moving eastward. Todd, looking at the chart from the National Weather Service, looks like Forest Hill will be out of the lightning zone. I wouldn't count on that. I do think we could see a few thunderstorms around Forest Hill, and I'll show you why. Vicky's checking in from Oakdale. And Robert, weren't you on vacation yesterday? I was on vacation all last week. Yeah, I just got back last night, but I'm back today. It's Monday. Back to reality. And glad to be here. Glad to have some interesting stuff to talk about, too. It always makes it more fun. All right, Becky over on the KCRA page, will there be thunderstorms in Elk Grove tomorrow morning or afternoon? Becky, the short answer is yes, there's a chance of thunderstorms in Elk Grove and anywhere else in the valley. I'd say from probably 11 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. Not saying it's going to be, thunderstorms that entire time, but the chance is there at any point during that time. All right, so that's just a quick review of the questions so far. Let's actually talk about what's going on right now. Just got to get my bearings here. We'll pull this back up while I do that. That's all part of the fun of coming back from vacation is you got to get back into your routines. Curtis, would you like to join me on Facebook Live?
Well,
we're on
not?
YouTube too.
Why not?
All right, now we're in trouble. Say hi to Facebook and YouTube.
Well, hello, Facebook and YouTube.
We're talking weather.
We're talking weather. We got some nice green on the radar tonight. Even some pretty yellows and oranges.
See, this is why I do the weather and he does the
I just know my colors. I know my colors. What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about the rain that's coming in. We're going to show the folks the radar in a minute. Snow tonight and tomorrow. Thunderstorms tomorrow. It's going to be interesting.
Enough to save the resorts. Maybe stretch out ski season a little bit.
Well, some of them are trying to open back up for the weekend.
I know, that'd be nice.
That's what we've heard.
Right.
So we'll see.
I gotta go put my voice into the box over there so they could put promos on the air for tonight. So.
Curtis is making TV magic before he gets on TV. All right, our first cameo of the night. We'll see who else drops by. Anyway, here's the radar. This is a loop over the past 3 hours. So the takeaway here is that while this line of rain is moving to the east, it's more so moving to the north. So its eastward progression has been really slow. This line has been kind of right on the doorstep of Sacramento and Yuba City. It's been kind of flirting with the east side of the valley, which is just a few sprinkles so far. But the rain has been a lot steadier into the coastal hills, into the north coast, and into the northern part of the valley, which is good to see. But what we don't see a whole lot of yet, even in the higher elevations up around Trinity, Shasta, Siskiyou County, we don't see a whole lot of snow yet. And then it's going to take time for that snow level to come down, but it will. So that's the radar over the past few hours. We can show you how much we've gotten out of that so far. I do have this set to the last 24 hours, but these are rain totals from the California Nevada River Forecast Center. So we'll zoom in because I know the numbers are kind of small here. We've seen a little bit of measurable rainfall. That's not the airport in Sacramento. This is, though. Okay, so 3/100 of an inch of rain so far at Sacramento's International Airport. Nothing at Executive Airport. That would be this little slot right here. Vacaville, Davis, a couple hundredths of an inch of rain so far. But some parts of Napa and Sonoma County over an inch of rain. This is the gauge that we use for Clear Lake. I know it's not in downtown Clear Lake, but it's the closest gauge we've got. 77/100 of an inch of rain, so 3/4 of an inch so far there. Parts of Butte County, Colusa, and Glenn County, a few tenths of an inch of rain. So it's nice to see that. And again, this is over the past 24 hours, so we look to what's going on to the west to see what could be coming our way. Expecting maybe about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain just overnight for places like Sacramento, for Yuba City, for Elk Grove, for other spots in Sacramento County, and eventually this will move up into the foothills. So we were telling people earlier today, kind of jokingly, but kind of not, you can leave your car parked outside. Don't go to the car wash tomorrow. You won't need to. And if you have your irrigation system turned on, I know my watering days, I think, are Sundays and Wednesdays. I think I'm going to give my sprinklers a rest on Wednesday. We're not going to need it. We're going to get some good beneficial rain out of this. And again, tonight's rain is just plain old rain. We're not talking thunderstorms just yet, but we will be as we get into tomorrow afternoon. So I'm going to show you a couple different models. We'll start with what we call the in-house model. You're not able to access this at home, but some of the other ones I do show anybody can get for free. But this is what we use here in-house through our graphic system. I like it because it shows all of the important information all at once. Where is it raining? Where is it snowing? What's the intensity? And the timing. All right, so this model, the first thing I notice, this at 7:30, okay, that's what the model is showing. But the radar I just showed you had the rain line still back here. So this is running a little bit fast. This model does update every 2 hours, so it'll be interesting to see if that kind of fixes itself. But it's been showing the same idea all evening, that this line is moving slow, which is why we'll see, a good 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain. It's going to be light to moderate rain, but it's going to be raining for 8 to 10 hours as this moves through any one spot. So I know if you're watching from the foothills or from the Sierra and saying, well, what do you mean? We saw sun most of the day. Yeah, it's going to take some time for this to get to you, but it will get to you. This is 7:30 tomorrow morning. Just want to caution you, if you wake up in the valley and it's not raining where you are, tomorrow is still a day to have the rain jacket, to have the umbrella, especially if you're going out for the day, because there will be times where you want it. Through 11, I think most, if not all, of what you see here is just showers. It's not going to be anything thundery, mostly because we tend to see the most unstable air, the most rising air, the best ingredients for thunderstorms when we get some of that daytime heating from midday into the early afternoon. So this is 11. Here's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, this is where we could start to get into some thunderstorm activity, especially if we get a little bit more sunshine. But one cautionary tale about looking for thunderstorms with any kind of forecast model, whether it's high resolution or not. Models are good, but they are not. We're going to see a thunderstorm in Colusa, but not in Wilton at 4:30. Good. So this cell is in eastern Colusa County on this model. It could be in Butte County on another model. It could be in Solano County on another model. But it conveys the overall idea that we will have some of these hit and miss thunderstorms in the valley. I would say the Bay Area and into the foothills too. Also notice the snow. We'll come back around to the snow. Once we get past sunset, this is 9 o'clock, we lose the energy for our thunderstorms. We lose the daytime warming, we lose the instability, and this system that's coming through on its own doesn't have a ton of instability with it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that will continue to feed into some of that snow in the mountains. These will just be some scattered showers early Wednesday morning. Not expecting thunderstorms. They should clear out by the second half of the day. So tomorrow's the active day. Tomorrow's the day where we start with a little bit of light rain in the morning in the valley and the foothills. We'll have snow in the Sierra by the time the sun comes up. Late morning through the middle afternoon into the early evening, that's where the thunderstorm chances really start to go up, and we start to talk a little bit more about things being unstable, the potential for some hail. I don't think it'll be as big as what we saw last weekend. Potential for some gusty winds. I don't think they're going to cause major tree issues, but if you've got some weak branches, some of those could be shaken loose. That is always worth watching when we're talking thunderstorms. So I'm just calling up something really quickly here. Okay. All right, we'll get that ready to talk about thunderstorm ingredients in just a second, but let's start by going through some questions, seeing if anything else is left over. So Kylie, to get back to your question about thunderstorms in Twain Harte, the chance is there. Can I guarantee that Twain Harte will see a thunderstorm, but Arnold will not? No, it's not that kind of forecast. There is a chance for thunderstorms in a place like Twain Harte tomorrow. If you get one, there could be a brief burst of some heavy rain, frequent lightning, fair amount of hail. The highest chance for anything like that for Twain Harte would be probably between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, that's about as specific as we can get when it comes to thunderstorms. I don't think it'll be anything crazy, but it's the kind of thing where if you've got little kids or pets that don't like thunder, and you like to make preparations for that, just be prepared for that, because there is a chance that is something you'll be dealing with in Twain Harte. Becky was asking about thunderstorms in Elk Grove tomorrow morning or afternoon. Morning, I don't think so. Afternoon, yeah, the chance is there. Just going to refresh and make sure we don't see anything new. I don't know why Facebook comments are usually pretty good at refreshing automatically, but they don't seem to be today. Shelly is asking about the forecast for Yuba City this weekend. Honestly, right now it looks pretty good. It's not going to be as warm as what we had this past weekend, but still, I think highs around 70 degrees. Mix of clouds and sun, should be dry. Saturday and Sunday look dry for the valley. There may be some showers in the mountains, but we're dealing with another one of these cutoff lows, which is hard for the forecast models to pin down, which means it's hard for us to really pin down with some certainty. Yes, it will rain somewhere, no, it will not, but regardless, right now the valley, it should be a fine weekend, including in Yuba City. Tina is asking about wind. So with any of these thunderstorms that come through, there's always a chance you get a quick wind gust of 30 to 35 miles per hour. I don't see any severe winds coming with these storms, but wind gusts as the storms come through is possible. We're not going to see the widespread, we call it non-thunderstorm winds. There may be a little bit of a breeze, but nothing that's going to be too big of an issue. If anything, the breeze that we get tonight ahead of the rain that's coming in will be stronger than any kind of breeze, any kind of general breeze that we get tomorrow. But yeah, with any of these thunderstorms, always the potential for what we call, an outflow wind. You get lots of air moving down as the precipitation comes through with the thunderstorm. That air hits the ground, and eventually it has to move out. That air moving out is what we feel is that initial wind gusts as the storms come through. All right. Let's go back. We're going to talk about the ingredients that we were looking at with thunderstorms. So thunderstorms, if you think about it using like an analogy for baking cookies, right, or baking a cake, you always need 3 major ingredients for those. Usually some type of fat, butter, some type of starch, flour, and some type of protein, something to hold it together, egg. And sugar. All right, you need a few basic ingredients. Well, thunderstorms, you need a few basic ingredients too. For thunderstorms, it's moisture to produce rain, unless of course we're talking about dry thunderstorms, which in this case we're not. You need lift, something to get the air to move up, and you need instability, something that once that air starts to lift, it keeps lifting. What we're looking at right now is something we would use to kind of diagnose, well, how much instability is there? Because we know there's moisture. We always have lift in Northern California, especially on the east side of the valley and the foothills. The mountains naturally provide the lift. So instability is really kind of what's key for us in thunderstorms. And this time of the year, when we get warm air at the surface and these cold systems that come in, that creates the instability because you got cold air over warm air. So that's why we're kind of in our, if we have a thunderstorm season, this is it. Late March into early May. Until things, warm up. So the areas in purple shading, this is what we call convective available potential energy, CAPE for short. All it's measuring is, how much potential is there for the air to move upward? The more energy you have, the more likely the air is to move up. This is midday tomorrow. So where you see these brighter purples, it's probably around 700 to 800 joules per kilogram. I know, taking you back to physics for your measures of energy there. That's pretty good CAPE for us. Now, if somebody in Oklahoma or Kansas were to see, 500 joules per kilogram of CAPE, they go, yeah, so what? Well, for California, that's pretty good. And that's all we need to get thunderstorms going. But for some context, when we were talking about last week's thunderstorms, last Friday and last Saturday thunderstorms, the CAPE numbers very briefly were even up closer to 1,000. So we had more energy with the system coming through last week. And the air was a bit colder too, so the air was more unstable. Less energy tends to, but doesn't always mean less intense thunderstorms. There's a lot of different dynamics at play. But less energy this time around compared to what we saw last time, that's an indication that, okay, the thunderstorms will be there, and there will be some that are somewhat intense, but we're not likely to see, the ping pong ball sized hail in spots in the valley like what we saw. We're not as likely to see, major tree issues like what we saw last weekend. So that's just one thing that we look at. Another thing, of course, we look at is, is there any rotation into the atmosphere? This time around, there isn't quite as much. We had one confirmed tornado in Tehama County last weekend. That risk is rarely zero when we're talking about thunderstorms in Northern California. I'll just say that. It's just not usually something we advertise because the chance when we get thunderstorms is usually pretty low, especially compared to, certainly what we would be talking about the Midwest or parts of the plains. Just because of California's geography, right? You've got mountains and valleys and all kinds of different features that can shape the way the air moves. There's always just that little bit of spin in the atmosphere, but not enough this time around to make us particularly concerned about any kind of tornado issues. But hail, brief gusty winds, lightning, it's all on the table for tomorrow, and we just want you to be heads up when thinking about that. So those are the thunderstorm chances for tomorrow. Let's talk about snow. If you've been hanging here for the last 10 minutes or so, you know, Curtis asked about the ski resorts. There's a few that are still open. We had video from Palisades today. We saw someone dropping in. They have a decent amount of snow at the peaks, at least enough to ski and ride on. This will help. So this is our snowfall forecast through Wednesday. Most of this is going to fall, especially for Blue Canyon or for South Lake Tahoe. Most of this is going to come Tuesday evening into early Wednesday morning. But for Donner Summit, for Carson Pass, for Ebbets Pass, for Sonora Pass, snow is going to start before sunrise tomorrow, which means we will have chain controls before sunrise tomorrow. And I would expect chain controls most of the day, if not all day, for those higher summits. Of course, Sonora Pass, you know, they tend to shut that down with storms like these. But for Blue Canyon and South Lake Tahoe, it's going to take longer for the snow level to drop. Probably takes until closer to sunset on Tuesday evening to really get much snow down at those elevations. We'll get rain before that. But this is good snow for this time of the year. It's April 20th, tomorrow's the 21st. This is a nice bonus. Snowpack right now, about 25% of normal for the date. Of course, we're now several weeks past what the peak date would be, but anything we can get late in the season, keep it locked up there for an extra week or so. That just puts off the inevitable another week or so. So it's all good. Reservoirs, I took a peek at some of those numbers earlier this morning, just as I was kind of reorienting myself. I think Oroville's something like 95% full, or Folsom is like 92 to 95% full. So we're good. You know, we got kind of lucky despite how dry March was. You know, things are working out as far as water storage goes, and hey, these late season systems are always helpful there too. Just taking a pause, looking to see if we got any comments. We've got one on YouTube from One Queen 99 on the KCRA YouTube channel. Is our rain system normal right now? Is it good, or should we be getting more rain? Always a complicated question. And we do our best to avoid using words like good, bad, especially when talking about weather, especially as a scientist. Rain and snow in April is almost always a good thing, right? Especially when it's a manageable amount of rain and snow like this. It's not going to cause flooding. Yes, we'll see chain controls and the inevitable spinouts and delays in the mountains. But this, we would call this a beneficial system. We'll put it that way. Should we be getting more? Well, we wish we had more snow in March. Let's put it that way. If we had some snow in March, this would just be, you know, the continuation of what was a decent season. Instead, it's kind of helping us make up for some lost time. It's not going to make up for what was a missing snowpack for almost 6 weeks. But overall, this is a good thing. Our reservoirs are full, so we're starting off just fine. And again, any late season snow, it just adds to the benefit. Another YouTube comment. Patrick, hi Heather, it's 49 degrees in Lakeport right now. It's been raining all day. Yeah, Lakeport is one of the spots that's actually done pretty well today, and it's kind of hopefully a sign of what's to come for the valley and for the foothills later tonight and tomorrow. I'm just refreshing some of the rain totals. Yeah, so this is the number we use for Lakeport. I know it's downtown Lakeport's here, but this is one of the closer gauges we have. It's fairly consistent. But 3/4 of an inch of rain. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a cool day too. Especially compared to Stockton and Modesto today, we're in the low 80s. But with the rain coming through tomorrow, that holds temperatures probably a good 10 to almost 15 degrees cooler. So big change tomorrow for the San Joaquin Valley. Not as big of a change for the Sacramento Valley, which stayed cooler today, just with the clouds that we had. So we haven't talked about rain totals, or forecasted rain totals. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So I broke this up into two. Normally we show a rain map for an entire system. You know, we're going to see this much between Monday night and Wednesday morning. Well, instead I broke it down through, okay, here's what we're going to see overnight tonight. And here's what we're going to see during the day on Tuesday, because tonight it's all about the steady rain that I showed you on radar. So as that comes through, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain for the valley, over 1 inch for parts of the foothills. That's just with that steady band of slow moving but generally light to moderate rain. During the day tomorrow is where the rain becomes more hit and miss. So it's not going to rain everywhere all day, but this is where we get into the thunderstorms, some of which could be a little bit heavier. And if you do get under one of those thunderstorms, a quick 1/4 to 1/2 inch is possible. If you don't get under one of those thunderstorms, well, you're not going to see those kind of totals. There's a chance that during the day tomorrow, there are some places that really don't see much rain at all. It's probably going to be more likely at the coast, just with things kind of rotating inward. But in total, some of the bigger numbers that we see in the valley, and it's not going to be everywhere, some of the bigger numbers in the valley over 36 hours, 1.5 to 2 inches, that's within reason. Some of the bigger numbers into the foothills, maybe 2 to 3 inches. But again, that's where the rain is most persistent, where the thunderstorms hit most frequently, and we just have to see how all of that is going to set up. But again, this is enough that we would call it a beneficial rainfall, right? It's wetting the ground. It's reservoirs are essentially full, but it's not so much that water managers are having to dump a bunch of water to get ready for it. So this is pretty good. All right, taking one more pause for a few of the comments. We're coming up on 8 o'clock here, so we'll wrap up fairly soon. Just a reminder, if I didn't answer your questions here, we always have a forecast written up at kcra.com. Ahead of big weather systems like this, we've always got something right on the homepage that kind of headlines what we're expecting. And then we have our daily weather forecast, top right side of our website if you're on a desktop, or you can find it right in the KCRA app. It's usually like the second or third tile at least, scrolling down on your app. So those are free options to get updates on the forecast 24/7. Somebody on our team is working on those at least twice a day, usually more as we get into busier weather. And our app is also useful if we get any severe thunderstorm warnings tomorrow. Not likely, but there's always a chance. When those warnings come in, our digital team will send you a push alert and let you know what's coming your way, and then you can check radar right on that app too. All right, I see we got a bunch more comments on my Facebook page, so I'll scan through those quickly. Don says, not much rain in Carmichael yet. No, that'll be coming later tonight. Vicky's asking about high gusty winds in Oakdale. There could be some brief gusts if a thunderstorm comes through Oakdale, Vicky, but as far as like an all-day wind, not expecting that. Greg's asking about Oakdale in the morning. Tomorrow morning it's going to be kind of light to moderate rain. Roads will be wet, it'll be damp, won't be all that breezy. Thunderstorms will start up in the afternoon. Chuck, Ione, yeah, thunderstorm chance for you. Same thing with the rest of the valley and the foothills. It's just kind of a blanket idea. Anytime between lunchtime and just after dinner time, that thunderstorm chance is there. Carrie's asking, which model or app do you find most accurate in terms of timing out the weather? Well, that's the trick. They all have strengths and they all have weaknesses. The higher resolution models do okay with timing out thunderstorms, but showing exactly where, they're not so good at that just yet. So there is no perfect model for thunderstorm forecasting. We can tell where the ingredients are. SG Morrison, driving over the spur and then Carson Pass Wednesday morning. Okay. I would expect chain controls over the Carson Pass on Wednesday morning. It will be getting better. If you can wait until maybe later in the morning, but if you have to go, chain controls and delays, that's probably still going to be lingering for the first few hours of Wednesday, but the afternoon will clear up pretty quickly. Kim's asking about thunder all day in Nevada City. It's her that can't handle the thunder. I get that. I was terrified of thunderstorms when I was younger. Yeah, plenty of adults don't like thunder either. I get it. Kim, it's not going to be an all-day thunderstorm in Nevada City. There's a chance for a thunderstorm at any point in the day. but I don't see anything that would last for too long. Plenty of adults in the chat that aren't a fan of thunderstorms. I get it. They're loud, they're chaotic, they feel unpredictable. Michael's saying, wettest spring in downtown Sacramento since 2019. Not with how dry March was. March, I don't think we had a drop of rain in Sacramento. So keep in mind for spring, meteorological spring is March, April, and May. So April is certainly turning out wetter than March. But with March being as dry as it was, this will not be in the record books as one of the wettest springs. It's highly unlikely that will happen. But it is a wetter than normal April so far, which is good to see. All right, so I've scanned through a bunch of the questions. If I didn't get to yours, I will try to kind of graze through the comments again one more time before I go home tonight and just type out my answers there. But again, kcra.com, the KCRA app, that's going to be a really handy tool for you, and a free tool. If you have a smartphone or a tablet that you like to keep tabs on things, just go ahead and download that and turn on your notifications. We will let you know if there's any kind of warning or anything you need to watch out for weather-wise through the day tomorrow. But otherwise, forecast is posted at kcra.com as well. We'll be on KQCA, Channel 58, My 58 at 10 o'clock, and then 11 o'clock on KCRA. Remember, tomorrow, just like today, our news schedule in the afternoon is going to be a little different. We're going to be on KCRA from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 o'clock, and then we will be on My 58 from 5 to 5:30. We will not be on at 6 or 7. But if we do get any kind of severe thunderstorm warning, anything like that, we're going to cut into programming as we need to. So a lot to talk about over the next 24 hours. We'll keep tabs on it together.